Thank you, Jim. Well, this week on Growing Idaho, we're talking about growth. I know what you're thinking. Justin, you talk about growth and growing every week. It's literally in the name, Growing Idaho. True, but this week we're specifically talking about what you, fair viewer, think about growth. Mainly that you hate it, or at the very least, you don't like it, and maybe even fear it. Now, I've been to a lot of public meetings as a journalist and city employee, and people's number one complaint is growth. Also, I've asked leaders of cities, big and small across the area, and their residents' number one worry is growth. And really, it's more than just worry. We're talking about a fear. You could call it a fear of the unknown, or fear of losing the Idaho that people grew up with, or losing the Idaho that people moved here for. Regardless, it's fear, and it's not an irrational fear. If you don't like growth and no one can stop it, which they cannot, that is scary. But as we always say, while it cannot be stopped, it can be managed. Here's Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling on the fear of growth and what can actually be done about it.
I think people fear losing their way of life, the way they knew it. And that's something that we talk about. How do we maintain the sense of community in the midst of growth? And with a lot of new people moving in that may not value what we value here. So we're really intentionally working on that to ensure that we have a sense of community in Nampa, and that where neighbor helps neighbor, and that we smile at each other in the grocery store, and we maintain who we were as we move forward into who we're going to be in the future.
Now, you heard Mayor Kling say intentionally. That's really a theme for cities managing growth, doing it intentionally. For Boise Planning and Development Services Director Tim Keene, that means accepting that growth will happen and planning for it with people who are more than a little freaked out by it.
It's kind of the subtext for everything, right? I mean, it's really what everybody's thinking about. Cities are always changing. I mean, this isn't, we're not deciding that the city should change. That's the nature of a community. We know that. The issue is whether we are able to, as a community, to come together and shape that growth in a manner that we like it, and the resulting city is a better one. This is not easy to do, okay? I mean, there's not a lot of cities that have succeeded like this, but that's what makes Boise so unique, is we're at a period where if we're really careful about it and intentional, clearly the growth that's happening could result in a better, more livable city that people enjoy greater than they do now.
Keene believes that's really the case for not just Boise, but all cities and counties. And what does that look like in the practical world? Well, lots of public meetings and public input. There are regular council meetings in your city or commissioner meetings in your county monthly, if not even weekly. There are also planning and zoning meetings, design review meetings, or just community meetings, et cetera, et cetera. You can take a look at the agenda, educate yourself, show up in person or online, and make your voice heard so we can all do this growth thing together. As touchy and feely as that sounds, it's the only way we're going to grow into an Idaho and Eastern Oregon we actually want to live in.